This will be the final episode of Glory Hunter Asia, where we've had 20 seasons to win the following competitions. As we enter season 17, we've won the top 5 leagues, the AFC Champions League Elite and Champions League Two, and 4 of the 5 domestic cup competitions. This will be the final episode where we have to win the Chinese FA Cup. Will we complete the challenge or will it end in failure? Whatever happens now, I am playing through the rest of the Glory Hunter Asia Challenge in this episode. The last time I saw you all was at the end of season 16, where we had finished second in the Chinese Super League, and more importantly, had been knocked out in the 5th round of the Chinese FA Cup. As we continue moving forward to completing this challenge, I am now at the beginning of season 17 where I've played through the off season, and I'm going to catch you all up with what we have done. As a quick reminder, the tactic we are playing is a narrow 4-3-3 with 3 forwards. So this is a very gung-ho tactic, and as a result, I have built the squad with this tactic in mind. Compared to previous seasons, we only spent about £8 million, which really isn't that much. We've brought in 2 free transfers here, and then we've brought in another 8 million here, and that was the bulk of our spend. We also got rid of about £5 million worth of players this window. The biggest names being Stefan Gold, who we had originally brought in from England. As a result of him playing out wide, he just doesn't fit in the tactic anymore. So despite paying 12 million for him, I've sold him for a mere 500k. And continuing with my honestly poor business, we've also sold William Militao for the same reason. He plays out on the wings. After signing him for a hefty £7 million, I've now sold him for £1.2 million. So I needed to be a little bit more frugal in the market this time around. And with that in mind, I've brought in some huge players on a free, starting off with Jose David Osorio. We brought him in on a free from Colombia. Last season, he scored 21 goals in the Colombian First Division, so I think he holds a lot of promise. I really like him as another forward attacking option for us, someone with a lot of potential as well. Really good pace and really good jumping reach, solid enough heading, good finishing, and good off the ball. I think this is a player who's going to be really good for the team. I think he's going to score a lot of goals, and he has a lot of the attributes that make him a really good forward in Football Manager. Next up, as we're playing a fairly narrow formation, I want to make sure that we have sturdy ball-winning midfielders in that central role. And Luis Fernando, who we've brought in on a free from CEC in Brazil, he fits that bill perfectly. Very good tackling, very good work rate, great pace and stamina. Those things together mean he's going to be able to dominate the center of midfield, and we really need that when we're playing a narrow formation. Other than that, there weren't a whole lot of huge signings. We need to make sure, since we're playing a narrow formation, that our fullbacks are solid. Jean-Marie helps to fit that mold. He's an experienced right back. He is the player that we spent the most money on because I really needed a right back. That was kind of the last position I was looking for, so that's where our 6 million was spent. But that is the bulk of our transfer business, leading us into season 17 with CD Rongcheng with this squad here. We're going to put Osorio, Diallo, and Al-Jouai up top. Diallo is still looking like a really solid player. Again, I love that finishing, composure, and off the ball. And Al-Jouai has been an absolute star for us. He continues to be a brilliant looking forward. I am admittedly really counting on this front three to win us matches because this is about as attacking as a formation as you can get. I think we're going to allow a lot of goals, but I think this is going to make us, we're going to be a volatile team, but I think that means we're going to be able to win cup competition games. Last season, we didn't win enough matches. This is going to be a spot where we can't go out losing 1-0 in the CFA Cup 5th round again. If we're going to lose, I want to lose 5-3 or something like that. I don't want to lose 1-0. I don't want to lose without scoring a goal. We got to go all in to get the goals to potentially win us some cup competitions. But speaking of cup competitions, the last time I saw you guys, we were in the AFC Champions League Two. And throughout this preseason, this is the competition we've been playing in, and it has been a bit of a roller coaster. Obviously, we've already won the AFC Champions League 2, so this doesn't matter anymore, but I think this gives us a good indication of how we're going to do in cup competitions. So last time I saw you guys, we had just qualified from the group stage, And so far in the offseason, we played the round of 16 where we beat Al Jaish 5-4 on aggregate. We've played the quarterfinals where we went through 8-7 against Incheon from Korea. And we've played the semifinals where we beat Pohang from Korea 8-5 on aggregate, which means we will be taking on Al Nasser in the AFC Champions League Two final. However, we do not play that match for another month, and the timing of that match is really interesting because it is 3 days after the CFA Cup fourth round. Obviously, we need to win the Chinese FA Cup to complete this challenge, so I will be playing a full strength squad there. But with that in mind, that is where we are at heading into season 17. And I will add too, there is a lot riding on season 17 because the board have big expectations for us. They want to win the AFC Champions League Two, which for some reason it comes back as failed. I don't know why, because I think it might be for last season when it should be for this season here. But they want to win the AFC Champions League Two. They want to win the Chinese Super League, and they want to challenge for the Chinese FA Cup. So obviously we just need to win the Chinese FA Cup for the challenge, but they essentially want us to pull off a continental treble here. So we'll see if we can do that. But all right, I'm going to move forward through season 17. See you all very soon. Season 17 started off brightly, where in the fourth round of the Chinese FA Cup, we progressed after beating Sichuan Jeonju. That took us into the AFC Champions League Two final, where we were playing Al Nasser. And we looked to get off to a quick start. The ball going out wide to the left-hand side, a cross was floated into the back post, and Al Jawai gave us a 1-0 lead. But as we moved into the second half, Al Nasser were not to be denied. The ball went through to Javi, who found the back of the net. It was 1-1. And at 1-1, nothing could separate the sides in the initial 90. The match went to extra time, where Al Jawai found the winner with that strike. And CD Rongcheng was crowned champions of the AFC Champions League Two. And that good result carried over into the Chinese FA Cup. In the fifth round, we defeated Guangzhou 4-1 away from home. Then in the quarterfinals, we won 3-2 over Henan. And finally, as we continued our goal-scoring fest, in the semifinals, we won 4-3 over Wuhan Three Towns, which means that we had finally made the Chinese FA Cup final, where we would take on Shandong. But while we were doing well in the cups, the Chinese Super League wasn't going so well. At the end of the season, we had finished in fourth place. And that was a huge disappointment for the club, as they were very disappointed in my leadership of the team. The only thing keeping me in a job was the AFC Champions League Two win and the fact that we had reached the Chinese FA Cup final. My job security was very insecure. Not only did the Glory Hunter Asia Challenge rest upon this Chinese FA Cup final, but apparently so also did my job. So this has been a really strange season. So the board wanted us to win the Chinese Super League. We did not win the Chinese Super League. In fact, we didn't even make the Champions League Elite through the league. We finished in fourth place. It's been an interesting season because we are by far the top goal scorers in the league, but we've also allowed a lot of goals, and that's been a big reason for why we haven't done so well in the league. I don't know if you guys can just see it through the schedule here, but we've allowed a lot of goals. Like we've just allowed a lot of goals this season, which has been all right in cup competitions because we're winning games and we're just winning it huge, but it's just not super consistent. Like even in the Chinese FA Cup here, we're winning 3-2, 4-3, 4-1. Like they've been huge scoring games, but then we can also lose 4-3 in the Chinese Super League. So it's been interesting because it's been the yin and yang with the tactic of I think it does well in cup competitions because we just go out and win, but it makes us a little bit more inconsistent in the league. The other thing is too is we have gone into the Champions League elite phase. This is also something that's kind of not been super fun because the club vision here is that they want us to reach the knockout stages of the Champions League Elite, and we are not better than these teams. I mean, I guess there's still a chance, hopefully. Regardless, I don't think I'm going to be at the club because after the Chinese FA Cup here is our last two matches. As you can see in the last match, it was 5-7 to Vissel Kobe. But I think my job rests on the Chinese FA Cup here. If we don't win it, then we're gonna need to go to another Chinese club. But if we do win it, then that's the end of the challenge. So everything kind of hinges on these last two matches here. Something else I didn't realize is that the Chinese FA Cup final is over 2 legs. So we're gonna play the first leg here. We are at home to Shandong, and then we finish off away. We're at home. We're going to go with the 4-3-3 here. So I need to go through here and kind of fix the lineup. But yeah, let's see how we do. We dominated the first half of our first leg against Shandong. We were consistently having the better chances and generally had better possession. And our efforts were rewarded as we came through to the right-hand side and Zhang Rui found the back of the net. We led 1-0. And we were very quickly able to double up on that lead, as once again Zhang Rui came around the right-hand side and he found Diallo to make it 2-0. But Shandong were not going to go quietly, as after that throw-in they got the ball into the box, and suddenly it was 2-1. As we moved into the second half, Shandong were starting to get the better of us, and they were getting in behind and creating chances, hitting that one over the bar. Then working it nicely down the left-hand side from this throw-in and getting the ball into the box, but fortunately, Li Wen made a good save. Perhaps their best chance was this corner, which rattled the crossbar. We were defending for our lives and just looking to hold out. As we entered the 90-plus second minute in injury time, we got the ball down the right-hand side, and Diallo rose highest to head home. Perhaps slightly against the run of play, we had a 3-1 lead moving into the second leg of the Chinese FA Cup final. We started off brightly in the second leg, winning this corner where we got the foul and suddenly had a penalty. We had the chance to go up 4-1 on aggregate, and it would be up to Wang Jing, who missed. But it was just moments later that we would get our moment. We won the ball in the midfield and quickly countered. Diallo took the ball down the left and found Wang Jing, who atoned for his mistake, and we led 1-0. We had a 4-1 aggregate lead, but Shandong were not to be denied. Li Wen made a mistake off of the corner, and it was now 4-2 on aggregate. And not even 2 minutes later, Shandong, going down the left-hand side, found the ball, and they rose highest. It was 4-3, and suddenly it was way nervier. As the first half neared its conclusion, we tried to reassert ourselves into the match, but this was failing. Shandong looked to counter as we lost the ball in their final third, and they quickly turned defense into attack, finding the goal that would tie the match. It was now 4-4 in the Chinese FA Cup final. As we moved into the second half with things all square, Shandong continued to have the momentum. They were by far the better side with the better chances, taking advantage of their home second leg. The ball came through, and we were fortunate that it hit the bar. And then in the 77th minute, we found the back of the net with a stunning curling strike. We only had to hold out for 13 minutes, but Shandong were not to be denied as the ball came in and we were tied again. But what I didn't know at the time was that was all we needed. I had failed to look at the competition rules prior to the final, and what I didn't know was there are away goals in the Chinese FA Cup, and we had scored 2 away goals while they only had 1. And on away goals, we had won the Chinese FA Cup. I did not actually know about the away goals rule of the Chinese FA Cup. I thought we were going to added time and penalties. What a way to end this challenge. This was by far the most difficult club and the most up and down season of Glory Hunter. Season 17, man. To go from winning the AFC Champions League Two to just having a terrible league season, to doing terrible in the Champions League Elite, to being up 3-1 in the Chinese FA Cup final, only to think that we were going to added time. But it turns out we won on the away goals rule. What a finish. Well, that is the end of Glory Hunter Asia. I would like to thank you all so much for watching this series. If you've been watching, if you've kept up this far, I hope that you guys have enjoyed the series. This was a series that I've been wanting to make for pretty much the entirety of FM24. I was even thinking about waiting until FM25 came out, and when it didn't, I decided to do this series. It was a lot of fun. I'm really happy that I did this. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys had fun going along the journey with me here. And I hope that you all will try something like this on your own. I know that a lot of people really love the Glory Hunter Challenge in Europe, but there is a lot of different ways to do the Glory Hunter Challenge. You can do it in other continents as well, whether it's Asia, North America, South America, if only there were more African leagues. But you can even do it within Europe too. I think Tom FM did like a Viking challenge. You can do something in just the UK. You can do it in different areas. So I think there's a lot of opportunities here for these types of challenges. But yeah, it was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, a huge thank you to all for watching, joining along the series with me. I had a lot of fun. Well, I guess at some point we'll move on to another series. That is the conclusion to Glory Hunter Asia, and I will see you all next time. Thank you all for watching.